An 18-year-old, an AK-47, shots fired into an apartment complex, and somehow no one died. The real question is, what does justice look like when tragedy was only barely avoided?
24 CR 1285 is called. You were here with your attorney, Mr. Dusler, and the state's attorney. Earlier, you pleaded guilty to the third-degree felony of deadly conduct, discharging a firearm. And a pre-sentence report has been prepared, and the parties had an opportunity to review it. Any corrections or changes to it?
No, sir.
It's made a part of the record for all purposes. And this agreement was whatever sentence shall not exceed a cap of 5 years in prison. It's a third-degree felony. We're looking at no less than 2 nor more than 5 years confinement in prison. Also deferred or unadjudicated probation.
Here's the legal setup. This is a third-degree felony with a cap at 5 years. That means no matter what happens in this courtroom today, the judge cannot go above that. But within that range, full discretion. And that's where things get serious.
Can also be in the ballpark as a potential disposition, and regular probation, I don't believe is available, is it?
No.
Not when you discharge a firearm, right? Okay, go ahead. Defense can go
Well,
first.
Judge, he is asking for adjudication. This young man is 18 years of age. He has no adult history. He does have significant juvenile history.
Why is that?
As reported in the PSI. You know, when you're young, you do pretty stupid things.
I was young.
Most of these,
I remember that, but I was never arrested.
most of these arrests as a juvenile were dismissals, if the court will look at that. But again, back to the case.
How many were not?
I can count them if
2.
you like.
Looks like,
2, I believe.
although
Maybe 3.
maybe 3.
Yes, sir.
Those were illegal possession of controlled substance. Then he's put on 6 months deferred on July of 2020. And less than 4 months later, he's charged with he commits unauthorized use of a motor vehicle while he was on deferred probation, and then placed delinquent court probation. And then another unauthorized use of a motor vehicle on October 2022. He's sentenced to 1 year adjudicated probation for that. That's what I'm looking at.
Listen closely. This isn't just about one bad decision. The judge is connecting a pattern, repeated chances, repeated offenses, and lessons that clearly didn't stick. And in sentencing, patterns matter just as much as the crime itself.
Yes.
So 3 separate events. He didn't learn those lessons. So we have, is there still a pending failure to identify as a fugitive?
It's what the PSI shows, Judge. I'm not certain on that.
I think that may have been the arrest on this case. Not to arrest him on this charge. Looks like it's a couple of weeks after this event. No, I'm sorry. I'm a year off. Sorry. Still may have been then.
I don't have the benefit of my computer to confirm that, Judge.
Regardless, the misdemeanor is still pending.
Okay, anything else in the pre-sentence report, that is an issue?
Just no.
Okay,
I just needed to.
Then the pre-sentence report is made a part of the record for all purposes. Go ahead.
Well, the offenses that you just discussed as a juvenile, I'd point out he was like 13 years of age on those first 2, and then the last one was a couple of years later. So he was awfully young then. And to his credit, I mean, he did obviously successfully complete the probation even as a juvenile. But back to the case in point, I've discussed with him, and he recognizes it's extremely dangerous to have a firearm, and especially be shooting it from any direction at anybody. He regrets that this happened. He wished that it hadn't. He feels like he's learned his lesson. That he's been in jail now for a while. He certainly feels like he could successfully complete adult probation because he did it as a juvenile. He's only got an 8th grade education. he'd like to be placed on deferred, get him a job and participate in completing the PED, and maybe make something a whole lot better with his life. And that's what we're asking the court to do, is give deferred education, give him an opportunity.
All right, State, what would you like to add?
I'd like to start first with some comments about his juvenile history. There are 5 cases that the juvenile system dealt with. One he was given probation for, Your Honor noted, was possession of controlled substance. That was dismissed in 22. He was given another for unauthorized use of a motor vehicle, and what was added to that probation was 2 additional charges. That's what the phrase "add to analysis." They were added to his probation. That would be the unauthorized use of a motor vehicle and carrying weapons. One of those, he was given a year of probation, and that started on 11/3/22. He turned 17 in October of 23, and you'll note, Your Honor, that his probation was dismissed on January 8th of 2024. That is the same time frame in which an aggravated assault, a probation violation, and expulsion were all dismissed. So the way I read that is that they determined that they were done with him because he had become an adult. And unfortunately, this man decided that committing the offense of deadly conduct would be a really good thing to do. So when you read the police court version, we learn that he not only shot at his ex-girlfriend on April 26th, but he returned to do it again on April 27th, which resulted in his use of an AK-47, where 5 shots were laid down at an apartment complex.
This is where the case takes a dark turn. Not one incident, but 2 separate shootings. An assault rifle, multiple buildings hit, and children nearby. At this point, the court isn't just thinking about punishment, it's thinking about what could have happened.
There at, I believe it's the Parkway Apartments, striking 3 different apartment buildings, resulting in us only filing 1 case. We could have had 2 cases from 2 different dates. We could have had potentially 3 cases from the date of April 27th. And I know Your Honor is astute enough to know that the level of violence here does warrant what the state offered in this regard. We're just lucky we're not dealing with murders. I appreciate that they're asking for deferred adjudication, but I don't think it takes into account the level of violence and the amount of loss that could have occurred here. I stand by the offer that was made here at capping this item at 5 years. And because of the level of violence, I'm asking for a sentence of 5 years TDC.
All right, did you want to say anything? You don't want to say anything?
Did I successfully tell the judge what you and I discussed, that you felt like that you could make probation? Yes. You regret this incident?
I'm looking at this pre-sentence report that's made a part of the record and without objection. And we don't have the defendant's version. He declined to say anything, just as he's doing today.
Notice this. He's choosing not to speak, and that's his right. But in moments like this, silence can carry weight. Judges often look for remorse, accountability, anything that shows insight. And here, there's nothing. Which is
all right. Your actions certainly speak a lot louder than maybe your words could. But for the record, this is a situation, a set of circumstances that every one of the people who are decent people in Beaumont have a hard time trying to explain away because of bizarre, lawless behavior that is only anyone can state is likely to cause numerous deaths and injuries. And here, the defendant is seen leaning out of a window, shooting an AK-47, an assault rifle, which what America uses in times of war, toward an apartment complex, shooting toward an apartment complex where, of course, numerous people are located. 3 small children were playing outside in the area where the shots were fired. Several 7.62 shell casings that are used in AK-47s were located and collected at the scene. And it's interesting that here, you're not going to say anything, but according to the police report, the pre-sentence report, the one of the victims, one of the people who were being shot at, was your ex-girlfriend, and she told the police you called her making threats while showing her a gun that you were holding. Police retrieved text messages that were received from her, sent by you, stating vulgarity, F you, apartment, you should have died, bitch. And you can't even spell words correctly, which is another reason that shows that you're not using wise thoughts or intelligence in your actions nor speech. You go on to state, or I go to yo apartment. And then witnesses saw that the person shooting was wearing a ski mask, and that turned out to be you. You don't even have the courage. You try to hide your identity when you're acting in a way that could have killed children. The foolishness doesn't end here, and the police in their investigation concluded that you were the person who was shooting at an apartment complex with an assault rifle where children were located. And when they were able to find that several areas of the building were struck by gunfire, and windows in at least 2 apartments were damaged because of the gunfire. And as the state points out, you have been handled as a juvenile not once, not twice, 3 times before this incident. But the point is everybody makes mistakes, but you fix the mistakes. You don't. You just get worse. You go from illegal possession of a controlled substance to unauthorized use of a motor vehicle to another unauthorized use of a motor vehicle, which is the second most valuable item most people own next to their home. And stealing from misusing that kind of property is serious. And then here, shooting assault rifles at multifamily apartment complex locations where children are playing. Of course, if you'd have shot and killed somebody, a child, that's capital murder, where you have life without parole or the death penalty. Those are the only two options. But in all of this, it just seems from what I'm looking at here is that you really don't seem to care about what happened. You don't care about others. You just, I'm looking at what achievements you have, and I think, did you complete 8th grade? Did you ever get past 8th grade?
Yes, sir.
You did? This says you only completed 8th grade. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You're unemployed. have no other employment. Your mother resides in Beaumont, Texas. You have a father. We all have fathers, but you don't even know where he is, right? And you've had no relationship with him. Well, that explains a lot.
We talk, I like.
Sir,
We talk, I like.
what impact did he make on your life?
You're not doing much for him now.
He's not doing much. What does he do for a living? You don't even know? No. Parents are important. They're supposed to, they provide the role modeling. Is your mother a nice lady? Why would you do something like this? You got somebody who cares for you. If your father doesn't, well, your mom at least doesn't, you don't want to disappoint her. I wouldn't want to disappoint my mother. But this is serious. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
I mean, you can't shoot the town up with assault rifles and be shooting at children. That's terrible. God. I mean, this